Hello, and welcome to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I'm the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome to today's episode. I'm really excited to be here today. I've got a whole new set of motivation right under my wings. And I'm ready to share all of that insight with you today and what that looks like in this season that we're in this fall season. Happy fall. If you are in the getting a cold spell, I hope you're staying warm. We are where I live. I'm just starting to get the cold spells. So excited to just turn on my fireplace and get cozy. But today, as I have spent the last week kind of MIA from my business, from my social media, from my email list, from all the things, I took a much needed vacation with my family, but I also took a much needed vacation from my business, from my day-to-day life, just really soaking in the non-scheduled time, the ability to be a little bit more impulsive as we were on vacation, finding things to do, finding things that really were going to serve us, being able to just sit and not really do anything, kind of work through those things. But in those moments of downtime, as I was catching up on a bunch of novels that I wanted to read that weren't personal development things or business books, but very much novels, getting into my imagination, getting into my creativity, really getting that bone, kind of nurturing that space, getting my creativity bone back into its strength, but taking that time to reset, reflect, really give myself and my family the time to just be, not having to do anything, be just not feeling like you have to be on, just being. That in that space, I found clarity. I found more drive. I found more motivation. I found more things that gave me passion. I found more alignment for the things that I wanted in my life. And those are the things I want to share with you today of finding those things, what the benefit is of taking a break, of what that benefit is of looking back and reflecting and taking the time to do so, taking the time to disconnect, unplug, whatever word you want to call it that you're taking, but really removing yourself from all of the things that are out there. We live in the best and worst day and age that I say. And best is that we have everything at our fingertips. You can get anything that you need off of Google. You can get anything you need on Instagram. Just search capability, Instagram, search capability, information downloads. All of those things are so rapid fire that it's amazing. You can look at your calendar, create your grocery list, to-do list, all the things in one spot. All of those amazing things. It's great and it's useful and it's helpful. But at the same time, it's also the worst because we're constantly inundated with information. We're constantly inundated with being attached to our phones, being attached to a screen. And almost all of our validation, at least for me, than what I've observed in the world out there as I've gone out with friends, as I've been at the grocery store, anything like that, is that we can't not do anything without our phone. We are standing in the checkout line, scrolling on our phones. We are standing in the aisles of the grocery store, looking for our grocery list. All of these things that our phone is so attached to us. And if you are like me, you have been on your phone searching for your phone and going, oh no, I've lost my phone. And so taking the time to set and reflect and move backward in that space was something I wasn't necessarily planning on doing, something I necessarily didn't really realize that I needed because I've been working on trying to be more cognizant about my screen time and not having my phone with me. But in that space, I found that it just naturally happened that I wanted to be present on vacation. I wanted to be present with my family. I wanted to be more in a space of I didn't feel like I had to be on all the time, that I didn't feel like I had to show up as the business owner that I am and the mom that I am and all the things that I am. I just wanted to be able to sit. And something that I think a lot of us take for granted is being able to just sit and not have anything to do, not have a place we have to go, just really sitting and just figuring out who we are. That's something that we go through this cycle of life constantly. There are different times in our lives and during the year that we sit and reflect and review on the people that we are, the people we want to become, the goals we have, all of those types of things. But we don't take the time to constantly do that, to sit and maybe do it once a quarter, do it once, maybe once a month if you need that. Maybe it's once a week, just kind of reviewing and reflecting on your past week. Whatever that looks like for you, I challenge you to take that time to really soak it in, unplug from everything, really just take that time to figure out who you are, what you're about, where you want to go, all of those sorts of things. Because what happens in that space, and this is what happened to me as I took the time to do this thing, is that I ended up with more clarity in what I wanted for my business. I actually got more in line and aligned with my goals, with my vision for my business, where I wanted to go, who I wanted to be, what type of business I wanted, what type of parent I wanted to be, what type of wife I wanted to be. All of these things came into a spot that it wasn't necessarily hard to work out. It just kind of was little blips of inspiration, little blips of revelation, and little light bulb moments of this is where I want to go. These are the things that are in alignment with who I want to be, what I believe in, what stands true to my heart. And I'm in that way, I'm going to start taking the action steps and things that are needed to move forward in that direction. So, unplugging, becoming that time, taking that time to just sit and really reflect. I looked back on a lot of different things in my life in and really it was only over the last 6 months. It wasn't over a lot my from birth to now. It wasn't from the last 5 years. It was the last 6 months of the things that I wanted to see in my life, things that I felt I needed to have more of a physical manifestation of or physical results of, that I needed to have more clients, more numbers in my bank account, more uh numbers lost on a scale. All of these things that I wasn't looking at, the things that were really moving me forward, the things that I had taken and the steps that I had taken to get to where I am today and where I wanted to go. And that the two of them, just by flipping that perspective, I realized I was a lot further ahead and I had a lot more results under my belt than I did because I was looking for those physical, tangible results that people tell you about, those 10K months, those the amazing marriage, uh the the greatest whatever it is that you're searching for, that I have found those things aligning in a different space. Knowing those things and taking that time to sit and reflect, I also found that it's good for my personality type. It's good for my human design type, whatever it is that you find my astrological sign, for me to take that time to just step back. That I have my energy is really high all of the time, and I have a lot of things that I'm trying to push through into the interwebs, into the world, and to be able to just take a step back and rejuvenate myself gave me more energy and gave me more motivation to really finish out 2023 strong and start 2024 even stronger, because I now have more of a purpose, more of a goal driven set that I want to achieve. I have more alignment in where I want to go. So now I'm able to be more natural about the things in my business, things in my life. I'm more able to say no to things that don't serve me. I'm able to say yes to things that are going to propel me forward. I now am able to set stronger boundaries that will fit within my parameters of making me feel like I am moving forward as a person, as a business owner, as a mom, and all of the roles that I play that I'm moving forward, but that are serving me in a way that is helping me grow, helping me learn from different experiences, helping me to gain that experience, helping me to expand my knowledge, expand my skill set in what that looks like. And so taking that time has allowed for me to move forward in all of that space. I'm challenging you a lot during this to look at where you want to go. Maybe the 2023 version of you isn't the 2024 version of you that you want to go through. Maybe the 2023 version of your relationships isn't what you want to take into 2024. So you're going to start finding what it is that those relationships look like into 2024. This is super future forecasting, and it can go for the next month. You can do it just in tiny increments as well, but I'm taking it as a step of saying, where am I going to end 2023 and how am I going to start 2024? And moving forward in that space is where you're going to find that extra motivation and those extra steps in saying, these goals are able to be achieved because I want to be this person. I want to have this result. And that is what's going to motivate you on those days where you don't feel motivated to show up. Because honestly, some days there are times I don't even want to do anything that is going to be related to my business. And yet I show up every day because I know how important that is. And sometimes it is not as big as I want it to be. Other times it is bigger than I want it to be because that's where my energy flows. That's where my energy sits. But I need also to take those breaks. There are certain things that I want to achieve in the next 2 months that I'm going to take into account and really start moving toward that person that I want to be on December 31st, 2023. So taking that into account of where you're going to be, getting in alignment with what sits in your heart. There's a lot of things out in society right now that are making us make really snap decisions without all of the information, that you have to decide where you stand on a certain issue, and in the drop of a hat you have to be able to decide if you're going to show up like this or like that. You have to be able to decide really quickly what things are going to do, and you cannot really process what that entails in your whole entire body. You can't really entail what you can't foresee what that's going to do down the line, that domino effect, whatever that looks like. So we're going to dive into that a little bit more after the commercial break, but you are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I'm the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome back to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I'm the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome back. We're kind of having a jam-packed, quick-paced episode today about finding alignment, taking the chance to sit and reset, and then finding that alignment within yourself of who you are, doing those things that you feel like you need to do. Finding alignment is something we are all searching for. Like I was just talking about, we live in a space and a time where you have to make snap decisions all the time, that you don't fully have a full picture of what's in front of you, but you have to make a decision right there because people are waiting on you. Something that stresses me out at times, stresses a lot of people out at times, is taking the time to say, I don't know, or saying it's going to take me some time before I can make a decision on this. There's always at the end of a bunch of sales calls that you're in for a business, there's just different things in life. It's always is it a yes or a no by the time you're done having a conversation? And that can be really stressful. The toll that it takes on you physically without even really feeling the effects of it is astronomical, as well as emotional, as well as mental. Because what happens if you need to change your mind? What happens if you need to shift your perspective just a little bit more, or shift that answer to maybe it's not a solid yes, maybe it's kind of I'm still working through a few things. Maybe it's a no and you're shifting to a yes. Whatever that looks like, there's a lot that we need to consume still before making a decision, and there's a lot that weighs on decision making. And if you're not in alignment with who you are or who you want to be, and with what you're believing and where you want to go, your decisions are going to play a huge domino effect in where that space and span takes you, because you say snap yes right now and it's not something you really feel in alignment with, not something that really jives with your values, maybe jives with your core beliefs, but you also want to be able to please the person you're talking to. You don't really feel like you want to get into an argument at that moment, regardless, whatever the issue may be, that you just say yes to kind of pacify and move forward. And people will hold on to that and say, well, she said yes, so that's what she believes. And then when the time comes,
to all of those things, what does that do to the space that you're in? And moving forward in that space, does it hurt you in the long run because you feel like you need to stick with this decision, even though it's not in alignment with you? Or are you brave enough, or do you have enough courage to shift that and say, I wanted this, but I've done my research, or I've looked into it a little more, or I've kind of like processed it myself, and this is where I actually ended up? Do we have that ability to say those things? So I'm challenging you at the end of this episode to move forward in alignment. Find out what alignment is for you. Take the time first to sit and just be, not worry about anything. There was a great book that I read, and I may get the title wrong, but it's the 12-hour hike, and or the 12-hour walk. But the purpose of the book is taking 12 hours, don't have your phone, don't have anything with you, and just really explore who you are. Really explore what it is that you want, the alignment that you have, the person you want to be, all of those things. And so I challenge you to take some time. Maybe you're not up to 12 hours, maybe it's a half an hour, maybe it's 45 minutes, whatever that looks like. Really start to find out what's in alignment for you, because once you know you're in alignment, your decisions are going to be a lot easier to make. And I say that knowing that I have been in that space more than once. So I challenge you with that. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in the future. You are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I'm the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com or email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. We'll see you next time.